afternoon. Is it afternoon yet? No. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
It's your live. I ain't gonna be in it.
Huh?
What? I don't
You
even know what
gotta
the
jump in this
conversation.
bad boy.
I don't know what the conversation is about.
Well, the conversation is quite interesting. Something that I kind of ran into today, and I thought it was pretty interesting. Who we got in? Gigi, what's going on, Gigi? Should have known that was you. Thank you for the thumbs up. I got a couple of thumbs up. How y'all doing today? Hope y'all doing well. Hope you're doing well. Who is that? Unbiased. How you doing, Unbiased LLC?
Hey, I'm biased.
Thank you for coming in. I'm not gonna keep you long, but I wanna ask you something that was asked to me. If you got an opportunity, if you have an opportunity, this is what I want you to do. And Gigi, I don't know whether you got a pen or anything.
Hi, TLC. Hi, Boss Hog.
Hey, Boss Hog, what's going on? I don't know if y'all got a pen or anything. Y'all can write this down. I want you to try this experiment. We're gonna do 10, okay? This is not about likability. This is not about who you're friend with, but you know, in this time and age, we're dealing with virtual meetings. We're dealing with virtual work. We're dealing with a lot of different things. We on the homestead, but in a lot of ways, you know what we are? We're isolated, right? And through isolation, doesn't mean that it's a good or bad thing, but a lot of us, we don't understand we're social beings. We were designed to be in a social group. Even in the beginning, no matter what your religious belief, you have a complement of a man and a woman. You know, it was meant to be a teammate, a team effort, right? Even in groups and societies, we were meant to be in groups and society. You know, that's how we prosper. That's how we do well. Now I agree. Sometimes groups can be problems. It can be problematic, but overall, we're meant to thrive helping each other, right? But I want you to do this. If you got a pen and you got a piece of paper, I want you to write down 10 people that you interact with on a frequent basis. 10 people.
Okay.
I want you to write down 10 people. It's not about who you like. It's not about who you associate with, or whether you want to associate with them or not. But think of 10 people. And you know, when I was going through this process, I don't know about you, but it was hard for me to come up with 10 people. So if you can, write down 10 people. And if y'all don't mind, some of y'all, if y'all don't mind, just share with me some of your experience as you're going through that. TX, Lala, how you doing?
Hi, Lala.
Penny, how you doing? Haroki, hello.
Hi, Mrs. Oki.
Jones, Truth, what's going on? Yeah, my boy Boss Hog, he right there. I see you. So I want you to write down 10 people that you interact with on an often basis. And out of those 10, by each name, what I want you to do, from a scale from 1 to 10, I want you to rate those individuals one by one about how much value do they add to your life. Like 1 being don't really add too much, 10 being really adds a lot, okay? So you're gonna list 10 people, not who you choose to be with, but who you deal with on an everyday. Let's talk about everyday, whether you can control it or not. They can be co-workers, but think about the amount of time that you spend with people, right? Because this is the beautiful thing about this. We work jobs, and we on the jobs, right? And some of these jobs, we spend more time with the people that we work with more than the people that we really care for. Not to say we don't care about the people in our at our jobs, but sometimes our time is consumed by work or by obligations, right? So I'm going back through this. Gigi just came in. We're gonna name 10 people that you interact with pretty much often. And out of those 10, it's not about who you want to talk to, who you come in contact with, none of that. I want to know 10 people that you really interact with frequently. And then by each name of those 10 people, I want you on a scale from 1 to 10, I want you to put how much value do they add in your life. So for example, if somebody don't add that much value, but I deal with them on a frequent basis, they may be as low as a 1. Some people that adds a lot of value, you're gonna rank them as 10. All right, 8, 9, 10.
So Unbiased said, I don't have 10 people to choose from, but most of them don't add any value to my life because we are all on different wavelengths. It's okay.
See. This is what I want to kind of dig a little bit deep in this, because we need to assess where we are. Sometimes we get in our silos, and especially with all this change, especially after 2020, we get a lot of ways that we can now manage our personal space, and sometimes we feel secluded. We feel comfortable in our isolation stage. But what is it doing to us psychologically? As we, like myself, get older, what my circle looks like. I understand, I get everybody say, I want a tight circle, I want a smile, I want a bunch of people. Like some people, they may say, I only got 3 people, right? And all of them 10s. 3 people and all of them 10s may be better than having 10 people and all of them 2s and 1s, right? So just think about, who do you interact with? How do you get mentally stimulated, socially stimulated, conversation-wise? Who do you have people around you that inspire you, to add value to your life? Or are you just going to work, or going through this cycle of life, or going to the store, going shopping? You just going through this cycle of your life, and it's really not adding no value. And if it's not adding any value, it's not stimulating you, it's not creating growth, what do you think you're doing to yourself? Some of us, we have stopped going, and it's no judgment. This thing has no type of judgment, but it's a self-evaluation. You have to self-evaluate yourself, right? Some people, we start going to social events. We start going to spiritual, faith-based events. We stop being a part of groups. We stop meeting for lunches. We stop a lot of different things, right, in our social life, and our social life is empty. It's barren.
Ooh.
What you got me?
Hi, Change to Transform. How are you doing?
Change to Transform.
Hi, Penny Pension Prepper. How you doing? Ooh, that's deep. That's really deep. That's
you know,
really deep.
I was struggling.
Hi, Big Bird. Hi, how you
What's
doing?
up, Big Bird? You know, I was struggling as I think about the process. You know, when I was trying to write down my 10, I got stuck. It got so bad, I started putting in chickens as one of my people that I interact with.
Yeah, because it's true.
Because, yeah, I spend more time with some chickens than I do with people. You know what I'm saying? And
Oki said, can I read?
Yeah, sure. That's what I want.
She said, I can say at 45, the people who I have in my circle are way more valuable than many family members.
And your circle has nothing to do with what you want and what you like. When I talk about this circle, and for those of you all just coming in, I want you to write down a list of 10 people that you frequently interact with, and then I want you to rate them from a 1 to a 10. 1 meaning not a lot of value added. 10 means a whole lot of value added.
Hi, Goddess Leo. How are you doing? Hi, Lovelace. How are you?
So it really made me think about that situation where I only had just a few people, and I was struggling to come up with 10. And I'm thinking, man, I'm used to being sociable. I'm used to being out. I'm used to interacting. But over these last few years, I've been watching where I've been slowly isolating myself. I've been isolating myself. And I'm not saying that isolation is not a bad thing, but be careful with it. Because isolation can deteriorate bonds, relationships. And some of us, we might need to, but some of them we shouldn't. Because we can't make it here out on our own, y'all.
Mm.
It's times where what if one of you only have 3 and one of them you lose that one for whatever reason, maybe death or maybe sickness or maybe accessibility. And you left with only a few, maybe some 4s and 5s in your life.
Oh, Penny Pinching Prepper says, I'm a firm believer if you can't bring somebody up, more than likely they're dragging you down. I dismiss people in my circle pretty easily if they bring me more grief than joy.
Well, you know, I agree with that, but I want to challenge you. I'm not talking about who's in your circle. I'm talking about who do you come in contact with on a frequent basis. I want to go a little bit deeper.
So they don't have to be friends. It just has to be somebody that you're communicating with.
Yep. And some of us communicating with people we don't know or don't trust or don't even like on a daily basis. You know, I don't want to negate for our working group. Some of our working group, we are spending hours upon hours with people that we wouldn't ordinarily be around, we wouldn't ordinarily interact with, and they're adding no value. But we're talking to them on a consistent basis. And I'm just saying, just take that into account. Because in your circle, you get to pick who comes in out of your circle. But when you think about who do you spend your time with, because that's reality. You know, my circle, I might call some of my people in my circle maybe 3 or 4 times a year, or maybe 6 times a year. I might spend, far as hours in a year, maybe 10 or 12 hours.
And then get together and be like, you know,
nothing
even happened. Like we just saw each other last weekend.
Yeah. But my question is, if I spend thousands of hours with someone else and only spend 10 to 12 hours in a year with somebody in my circle, who is really influencing me?
Yeah.
Who is really impacting me? You know, I just want you to think about that, you know. And sometimes we evaluate our lives and we evaluate our situation, and then we wonder why we don't have any growth. And another thing, what if you're the smartest person in your 10 list?
Danger.
That's dangerous. That's dangerous. Or what if you're the most rounded, most experienced person in your list of people you frequently interact with? This isolation thing is real, and we got it's study shows that men from the age of 19 to 23 years old are dealing with isolation issues. They're struggling with isolation issues. Our young men are struggling with isolation issues. And this isolation is going to affect and going to come to a head. And we look at people that's willing to do detrimental things to other people because they're giving up on life, they're giving up on hope, they're giving up on society because they feel alone, they feel empty, they feel cold, they feel like there's no one cares and everybody out for self. Now imagine you spending most of your time with maybe 2 or 3 people in your life that you interact with, and that's limited. Now, let me be a little tricky and a little sneaky with this. You can't count out of these 10 the hours you sleep next to a person. You can't count that. You can't count the hours that you text or virtual.
Oh my God, I wouldn't have anything. Like literally all of, like the majority of my the majority of my friends, which, you know, I call my family, they are long distance from me. So yeah, I end up spending a whole lot of time without having like interaction. But one of the things that I started doing more recently is I got back in contact with an old friend from we met back in 1996. We got back in contact with each other, and we're gonna start doing lunches, because I think it's so funny that you're talking about this, because we just decided that we're gonna take some Fridays and just take our lunch break from work and go, close to my job, close to where my job is located, because she got a little more, freedom and flexibility than I do. But we just decided that we're going to get together and we're going to have our lunches together so that we can talk. And all of this time, I did not know that she wants to RV live. She wants to homestead. She wants to do all this stuff. I wouldn't have never known that if we wouldn't have we just kept running into each other at the post office. And we were like, we got to do lunch one day. We got to do lunch. And so finally, the last time we ran into each other, we were like, look, let's do lunch this Friday and let's make it happen. And found out all of this stuff about her and all of her life stuff that has happened over the years. I didn't know. Like, we were able to catch up, and we were like, we got to do this on a regular basis. So I think it's a really good topic.
But you know something to add to that? You all could be texting, could call, or whatever. But it's something about human interaction.
That it was totally different when we were there in the presence of each other versus like we'll sparingly text.
Have you ever met someone that you met over the phone or over the internet, and you never really interacted with them? And as you was going, that's mine.
That's him?
Yeah.
Oh,
you
I
never
should
really
text him and say, hey, I'm watching you.
You never really met, and then you physically meet them face to face, and you had that interaction.
Yeah.
And it's something different, y'all. Or have you ever had a friend that you talked to for years, and you go on for years, and y'all virtually talk, or you on the phone, or you FaceTime, or what have you, and then you physically see that person? There's an elation. There's a chemical reaction that happens when you meet somebody face to face. Back in the days we had pen pals. Where you wrote down your pen pal, and they lived across the world, and then one day you got that opportunity to physically see them and touch them and hug them, and it was like it was an emotion that came over you that you never experienced before. So with this list of 10, I want you to take a look at that list of 10, and I want you to evaluate. Some of us, outside of, if we didn't go to the grocery store, we didn't go certain places, we wouldn't even interact with 10 people. Period. And think about how brief that conversation is. How the weather? How you doing today? I'm doing pretty good. Good to see you every day. Yeah. It makes you feel warm. It makes you a little tingly. But look how brief that moment is in respect to life.
Yeah, and you know what? And that's one good thing also about like. Sorry about that. We had a phone call and some stuff happening. But one thing about being in the country, it's like they get it. Like they understand truly how important people are. Yeah. They understand truly how important that interaction is. And sometimes it's like we forget that we ain't in Tallahassee right now. And we're trying to like run in and run out and rush our way through things, and they're just like, hey there, how you doing? and try to have a whole conversation with you, and you're like, yeah. But then it reminds you to slow down and really like communicate and interact with people like that. Because
remember, if you out there on the homestead, you out there by yourself, you might need them.
Yes.
And you don't need to be trying to introduce yourself when you're in a crisis.
Yes.
I think about when I was looking at my list, and I tried to do my list to the best of my ability, I was reaching back in friends that I would like to be in contact with, but I was trying to add some of them, but I realized I didn't even communicate with them as much as I thought I did.
Yeah.
Months went by since the last time I contacted one of my best friends, my mentors. And I'm like, what happens? Yeah. Some of you all on YouTube, I talk to you all if more than I talk to people that's around me. My own kin, my own fellowship friends.
Yeah.
I talk to you all more than that. And we got to be mindful that that's okay, but at the same time, we need to start getting attention and thinking about our isolation pieces in our life.
Yeah. Cali bro, what's up, Cali bro? Hi, Kathy B. How you doing?
That isolation thing is something serious,
Who
y'all.
was that from UK? Said they were in here from the UK. Hello to you and welcome. Sorry, we were in the middle of conversation. All fall down. Hello and welcome.
Down.
Hi, the Naked Gardeners.
Naked Garden.
Welcome to you all.
So when you think about this list, y'all, and when you write down your list of 10 people,
you got somebody from Finland.
What?
Kai von Ganzi.
Oh,
hello,
wow.
welcome.
Welcome.
Wow.
That is cool. All the way from Finland.
That's so cool.
Man, so what
Hi,
we
Rambo
doing?
Green Hands. Sorry.
No, you're not.
He from the UK too.
What's up, Rambo? I love his accent too. And I love seeing him and African Dream go back. Yeah, that's cool, man. But what we're doing, we're writing down 10 names of 10 individuals you frequently interact with. And then once you write down those 10 names, not based on your circle influence, not based on your clique, people that you interact with on a frequent basis, write down 10 people. And then next to those 10, rank them from 1 to 10 on how much value do they add in your life. And then take a look at that list and then take a look at yourself and just say, I had a hard time coming up with 10 people. I mean, I was stuck on 3 to 4, straight up. And then I started trying to reach back on people I haven't been in contact with like I should. And we need to be mindful about our isolation, because we say, well, how could somebody be disregarded for life? How could somebody be so cut off from reality? This is where it starts at, y'all. It starts with people being isolated, off to yourself. Then you don't realize it. You go through depression, you go through loneliness, you go through emptiness, and then you start wondering self-worth. Then you start questioning, why don't anybody check on me? Why don't anybody interact with me? And then you feel like people start to forget about you. And then sometimes you might get sick in that process, and then you like, no one's there to care. No one's there for me. We need to make sure we check on our people, y'all. We need to be intentional about calling, reconnecting with our friends and our family, people that we really care about. We need to be intentional. We need to watch our coworkers. We need to watch the people we interact with, whether it's our fellow church members, whatever. We need to be intentional about interacting, about maintaining some type of social connection, because we need it. And some of us don't realize we need it, but we definitely need it, y'all. So my encouragement today is be intentional. Look at your social network. And some people say, hey, I'm clicked tight, I got 3, I got 4, but be careful, because you don't know what kind of situation you might be in. You might need somebody, and you don't realize your mental health. You don't realize, because what happens typically when things go wrong, you don't know that you got a leaky hose until something breaks or something tears up. And that's what you don't want to get to, the part where you realize that something's not quite right.
Yeah. Hi, Gina versus Gina.
Hey, Gina versus Gina.
I'll say, okay, so Kai said he found the channel through Lead Former 73.
Oh,
Hi,
cool.
Brenda King. Brenda said it took a funeral of one of my best friend's mom who passed for us to meet back up. And we had a similar conversation about just what you guys are talking about.
Yeah.
Hi, Juan Perez.
Hey, Juan, what's going on, Juan? It matters, y'all.
Yeah.
It matters. We can't do it alone, y'all. And I'm concerned. I see a lot of destruction. I see a lot of disregard for life. I see people I don't look at them as, what about some of these people that will go and take out lives for no reason? Something's behind that. Something's behind that. And I get it. We want to get rid of them and they're evil and they this, and that's our viewpoint, but we don't know what they're going through. And they're crying out. And I wish they could cry out in a different way, but are we providing avenues and resources for them to cry out? You know, are we really paying attention? Or are we just going about our day, just living our little isolation period, and whatever we don't want to invite in our lives, we doing this and we doing that? I get it. But in some form or fashion, we're going to have to reach out to each other and really just think about our social interaction, our social health, because that emotional, psychological, and social health, it matters. And people need to know that they loved and they cared about. People need to have that physical interaction. And in the beginning, you might be a social butterfly, but then after a while, you get used to working on your own. You get used to going about your day how you want to go. You get used to controlling your time. You get used to controlling this and that. Then you wake up one day and then you realize you're lonely. And you empty. And then you start wondering, what's the purpose of me being here? And we don't want you to get to that point. We want you to get to the point where you know that you're not alone. You know that somebody's out there for you. Somebody loves you. They care for you. And so I'm encouraging everybody to get intentional about connecting. And we got to stop using this stuff as an excuse. There's always been disease. There's always been sickness. And we got to check on our people. And sometimes people are in conditions that they don't know they're in. And then it's amazing. You can have one small conversation with somebody and change their whole entire life. I remember one day I was walking home, and I know I shared this story with you all. I had a classmate, and we used to all walk home, and it would be a group of us. And we'd do crazy stuff. Like, we'll walk home from school. We'll walk home miles from school, and it'll be a gang of us. And we'll pass a funeral home, and we'll go in the funeral home just to see who dead. And then we'll dare each other just to touch them. And a lot of times we'd be scared and stuff. And then we laughed and we played and we joked the whole way. But one day there was this young lady. She was a basketball star, real cool, well known, well liked. She shared with the group that she was thinking about killing herself. And we didn't think nothing about it. We was teenagers, you know, young teenagers, 11, 12 years old, happy, free. And the next day she didn't come to school. And then the next day she didn't come to school. And then we found out she overdosed. And she liked the loss of life. Thank God she didn't. She took a bottle of pills. And that day rocked my world to the part where I started listening to what people saying. I started watching people. Because there's nothing more frightful than seeing your best friend just gone. And then we thought we were friends. We thought that if you needed anything, we right here. We laughed, we played, we joked every single day, but you don't know what somebody going through, y'all. And then when she screamed out, I felt guilty because I wasn't there. We listened and we shrugged it off. We heard her, but we shrugged it off.
I was telling one of my family members that there is humor inside of everything serious. You know, some people will say something and then they'll be like, you know, laughing or whatever. But you really truly do have to listen to what people are saying, because that could be their cry out for help. And you know, if
it could be in a joke.
And they
we
will
could be
put
joking
it in
about
a
somebody else, and they'll be like, "You heard what happened to Martin Lawrence? You heard what happened to such and such?" And then somebody could just laugh, and I was
like, "Shoot, I can relate. I can relate to that." You know,
listen.
You have to listen to what they're saying and listen to what they're not saying at the same time, because you know.
And one word of encouragement can change somebody's life, y'all. One word of encouragement. So I'm gonna leave with that one. You got anything else in the chat? Thank you all for coming in and dropping in on this spontaneous live. But I want you to just think about that and just share it with some friends and share it with some co-workers and some loved ones, some people that you associate with and some people you don't. And just take a self accountability of self and review. And just think about those things, y'all.
And we love y'all.
Yeah, you already know it.
Take care of yourselves and your families.
Yeah, y'all be blessed and be safe.
Hit that thumbs up for econeighbor for this awesome conversation.
For a little bit of light. How my girl? Oh, just a little bit. You like it just a little bit? Come on, sure, just a little love, y'all. Much love to you. Y'all be blessed and stay safe. And take care of those to take care of you, and love those that love you, and be there for them. Y'all take care and be blessed.
All right, y'all.
And y'all already know. Continue to grow.
Bye-bye.
Bye. See y'all later.